Hello, everybody. John Rubino here with Keller Williams La Jolla, and this week we are celebrating Teachers Appreciation Week, and we all really do appreciate our teachers, that's for sure. Today I am joined with Jake Klutz from Cross Country Mortgage, and he has the opportunity to appreciate a teacher every single day. Jake, why don't you tell us about that?
Hey John, thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm with Cross Country Mortgage, and my wife's actually the principal of High Tech Middle in Point Loma. She was a teacher for 10 years prior to that, so been in the education system and just kind of really plugged in and kind of know the more intricate stuff. Being married to somebody that's been doing it for so long, so it's really my forte. So I've been helping teachers and directors as they call them in Point Loma, but I've been helping people out for years with home buying.
Okay, great. Oh my God, that's a perfect person to have on. Today we'd like to discuss something really more important about educators. And I'm asking Jake. Jake, you've worked with a lot of homeowners, and sometimes teachers just can't even see that home ownership is in their future. How do you get them to believe that that can happen for them?
Yeah, it's closer than you think because everybody's got their perception of like mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, 20% down on $1 million house. That's a lot of money, right? But people always forget that there's things. There's one thing that teachers know about it, it's grants.
Hmm.
Grants are the number one way that schools receive funding. That's also how a lot of teachers receive funding to buy homes. So between down payment assistance, grants, and simple programs like a conventional 3% down loan, homeownership isn't far away at all. You really don't need that much money to get started. And there's even tricks that you can do to get, if you can find a down payment, you can negotiate to have your cost covered. So there's really cool ways that we can do it. Every person's situation is a little different, but getting your first condo or townhome isn't as hard as people think, let alone buying your first single family home. So there's a lot of cool stuff that exists out there that most people just think it's old school banking, 20% or bust.
Hmm. Exactly. I've had several clients that, we get into the negotiation of their offer. They can't really afford it. We offer it down. Sometimes the sellers actually offers compensations to the buyers, and even like the 3-2-1 buy downs where the interest rate is lower for the first year. That always help buyers get into it. So can they use those other programs in conjunction with some of the teachers' specialized programs?
Yeah, of course. It's really just a pairing. The better we negotiate everything, the easier it is. So there's your baseline of minimums that are required, but when we negotiate well, people always forget that the seller wants to sell more than you want to buy. So what we do is we leverage that in a way that we can try and get additional cost covered or specialty programs that allow you to get lower rates than what's offered on the initial programs.
Hmm. Well, that's great to hear. Now, Jake, there's a lot of programs out there, and recently CBS 8 had that special on the Hope Teaching House Grant Program. Now, is that the only program, and what are some of the requirements to get into these programs for these teachers?
Yeah, so that's the one that the media picked for the week. If we wait 2 more weeks, there's going to be another one and another one. And I think it's actually a good feel-good story that there's, there's fireman programs for firemen. These exist for all lines of work, but people don't realize it's not a fad. It's always here. So between down payment assistance, the grants, and just a good old-fashioned 3% or 3.5% down conventional or FHA loan, these things never go away. Obviously, the news does it to try and make people realize and reach a mass audience that says, hey, this might be possible for you. But there's so many things that exist. This is one of many programs. What my job is to do is really pair you with that. I look at your credit profile and I say credit score, income, assets. What is the cocktail of these three that results in you getting the lowest monthly payment? It might be this program. It might be something. It might be a sister program. It might not even be a program that specializes in teachers, that just specializes in you as a first time home buyer. You never
Hmm.
know, but that's what my job is to find for you.
Oh, great. And I'm assuming you have a couple of examples of teachers that you've helped in the past. Can you share
Yeah,
those with us?
yeah. So really, it all depends on kind of the structure, right? So if you're a teacher buying on your own, we're thinking condos and townhomes. So condos and townhomes typically exist in a purchase price of 400,000 or above. You can reach that on a teacher's salary. And with the tax benefit of owning the home, you're going to get probably 20 to $30,000 back a year in tax benefit that people don't even realize. So it's basically 30 grand that you can get back on a yearly basis just from owning versus paying rent forever. That's
Mm.
if you're single. If you're together, obviously If you have another half, then that's probably going to increase your purchasing power to get into that San Diego, eight, nine, $1 million plus price point. And it really doesn't take that much. Even for that higher price point, you can do as little as 5% down or access some of these programs that give you help for your down payment. And then the beautiful thing is the grants. The grants are free money. There's no strings attached. You pair that with the best program. There's plenty of people that actually find their own grants and their own way to secure this funding, which is completely independent of like what's marketed to the world. If you find a grant, it's yours. That's free money for you to buy a home for you as an educator, and they exist all over. Um, there's a lot of ways you can do that. And then obviously we help everybody in the different administrative parts. I help several directors, which would be principals as far as everybody knows. But there's so much stuff that exists out there that it really is doable. And it's just a matter of really seeing why homeownership can get you to the next step. Either we watch your rent go up every single year indefinitely, or we get you in on a fixed rate for a payment that won't change with a $30,000 tax benefit that you didn't even know existed. That's my target for everybody. You get your first home within 4 years. Average appreciation in San Diego County is about 10%. So that means you buy a place for 500, it's worth 550 the next year, 600 the next year. Then within 4 years, the average family moves every 4 to 5 years. We're slingshotting yourself into that white picket fence in the next house you're buying.
Oh, nice. Boy, that's a great example. Now, Jake, if somebody who's watching this really wants to get started and they don't know where to start, what do you think the first thing they should do?
They should talk to you or talk to me. All my contact information is I'm Jake Clute. Feel free to look us up at Cross Country Mortgage. Cell phone 414-732-1282. And then obviously, John, your information, and I'm sure it's going to be out there for everybody to see. But they know you. They can get to me. If they know me, then I can get them linked up with you as a realtor.
Mhm. Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Jake, for this valuable insight in bringing home ownership to teachers now. And as Jake said, if you are interested in anything, if you just have a question, contact either one of us, Jake at Cross Country Mortgage or John Rubino at Keller Williams La Jolla. Thank you again. And if you have any questions, again, DM us below or wherever you're going to be looking, and we'll be able to respond to you and get you your answers. Thanks again.
We're here to help.
Let's see. Oh, not the meeting. Good thing I can edit this. There we go.